crack on. Tonight we are talking about how to get almost anybody to look at your presentation, your business opportunity presentation, your videos, your third-party material, whatever business you are in, whatever your presentation material is. I want to talk to you tonight about how to get almost anybody to look at that information. Now, there are two key words in the title, so we don't get confused. There are two key words in the title. Number one, almost everybody. Okay, so there is a caveat on that. This does not work for everybody. There is no 100% guarantee that if you do what I tell you to do, everyone's going to look, because we don't live in that kind of world, okay? I'm just saying almost everybody, a lot of people, okay? Secondly, I'm using the word look, not recruit. This is really, really important. I'm sharing with you tonight tips on how to get more people looking at your business, not necessarily how to recruit. Which brings me to my first point. One of the most important things, okay, when you are inviting and prospecting people to look at your business opportunity, is to have excellent posture, okay? Now, if you are a results-driven person during the prospecting phase, that means when you recruit someone, you're on a high, when you don't, you're on a low. That's a really, really bad position to be in. If you want excellent posture, okay, which by the way is really key, because if people see you have excellent posture, they are more likely to succumb to you and do what you wish them to do, okay? So if you want someone to look at your business, you are going to have to come from a position of confidence and posture. Now, if you are results driven, that means if you are emotionally connected to the outcome and you need to recruit them, that's going to stand out. They're not going to want to help you. They're not going to want to look. So you need to focus on getting people to look, not on joining. If you focus on getting people to look, which is what we're going to talk about tonight, then naturally you're going to recruit more people. But also, one of the most important things in being able to get lots of people looking at your business is also helping them to make a decision. Okay, yes, no. Do you want to take another look? Do you want to join, or do you want nothing to do with it? Very, very important. So the skill here is getting more people to look and getting those people to let you know, yes, no, or I need to think about it, or I need more information. Okay, right. So the first thing that I want to say to you is, you know, if we want to 10x, if we want to 20x the amount of people looking, yeah, we have to look at kind of real life scenarios and real life situations. And one of the things that I would say to you is this: I want you to imagine, okay, because we're all consultants, you know, as direct sales agents and reps, partners, whatever, we are all consultants, okay? We are all consultants with a solution, with a medicine, with a prescription to help somebody improve their situation. And as you know, when you go and see a consultant, certainly in a health capacity, the objective of a consultant is to ask somebody questions so that they can prescribe the right medicine. So I want you to imagine, just for 1 second, if you went to a doctor's or a consultant's who you'd never met before, they'd never met you before, you walked straight into the room, they sat down, and they just said to you, right, I'm going to prescribe to you oxycillin. You'd be like, what do you mean? I'm gonna prescribe you oxycillin. You'd be like, well, you don't know my condition. You don't know anything about me. You've not asked me any questions. I'm not going to take that. I'm not going to take that medicine. It's going to be a risk. I don't know what that is. You don't know what my ailments are. You don't know what my needs are. You don't know what my problem is. Why am I going to take what you're prescribing me when you haven't even asked me what's wrong with me? Okay? It's exactly the same in the world of direct sales when you're prospecting somebody on your business. 99% of people with a home-based business or direct sales business neglect to realize that they are consultants. And the only way that people are going to agree to look is if you have positioned if you come from a position of trust, if you come from a position of being qualified to tell them what they need. And I want you to note that down because this is really, really important. I'm trying to explain to you what is going on inside the mind of your prospect. Once you've figured it out, it becomes very, very easy. Okay? So to a prospect, you have to be qualified in order to tell them what they need. You can't just go up to someone and go, join my business. You should join my business. You'd be great at this, because you haven't taken the time to get to know the person. Okay, this is very, very important. It's a bit like if I was to say to you that you can get almost anybody to do whatever you want if you appeal to their intellectual vanity. We know that if you play up to somebody, anybody, friends, sometimes family, strangers, people, well, not necessarily strangers, but people that you've gotten to know, if you play up to their intellectual vanity, if you put them up there, okay, then the likelihood is if you appeal to their intellectual vanity in order to ask their opinion or get them to do something, then they are likely to do it. We know that most of the time if you appeal to somebody's intellectual vanity, they're going to do it. But here's the thing, if you don't know that person, you can't appeal to their intellectual vanity. It's the same thing. Here it is, and this is going to blow your mind. This is what it's all coming down to. So I hope you've got your pens ready. It's all about transfer of power. The prospect has the power, not you. You have been taught that you, as the distributor, have the power. You have what they need. You don't. They have what you need. The prospect has what you need. Them. That's the problem. The transfer of power is wrong. You think that they need you. They don't. You need them. And so what we need to do is we need to change the transfer of power. Okay? The prospect always has the upper hand. They always have the power because you need them. But you're going around in a daze thinking they need what you've got. And when you think people need what you have, you go around prescribing it without even asking them any questions about themselves. And that is why the vast majority of networkers cannot prospect or recruit. You have to transfer the power so that you have the power, not the prospect. The only way that you can gain power over another individual, okay, is to have knowledge. Knowledge is power. You have to have knowledge of the prospect. Once you have knowledge of someone, you now have the power. Because what it now means is that you are fully qualified to prescribe this person what it is they need in relation to the things that you know about them. Okay? Because they are going to join you based on that. They are going to join based on that trust, based on the fact that they know that you know a bit about them, and that you can pitch to them and appeal to their needs, depending on what they told you about their job, their lifestyle, their children, and their future plans. Okay? Because here it is, right? People don't want to look and don't want to talk to you about their business because risk is the number one factor that affects our decisions, right? Risk is the number one factor that affects our decisions. Our decisions are based on two things: risk, risky, and riskless, okay? Our decision-making process is based on two things, okay? Risky and riskless, okay? Now, it's logical and more probable to make bad decisions when we know risk is involved. So people will make the bad decision not to join your business, not to try and do a home-based business to improve their life. They will make that bad decision because there's risk involved. And it will appear like there's risk if you know nothing about them. Right? This is really, really important. This is really, really important stuff, right? So the more information you know about somebody, the more you can use this in your pitch. Now that means the less risk will be instilled in their prefrontal cortex, which is the part of the brain that they use to plan future actions. It's the prefrontal cortex which goes risk or risky. So the more knowledge you gather on them, the more you understand their job, their life, their personality, the easier it is for you to pitch them, because you can say, look, we've got a lot of people like you in our business. A lot of guys, a lot of ladies, a lot of single mums, a lot of teachers. Many of them have got children. Many of them are working busy hours, and some of them are absolutely killing it. You know, you said that you probably didn't want to do this job forever. Well, loads of these guys are now semi-retired or going part-time. Would you be open to taking a look? But you see, I have the power because I know this person's story. I know what's going on. I know about their job, their family, their what they want to do with the job, whether they want to stick in it, whether they're getting divorced, whether they're happy in their relationships, what their relationships with their kids are like. The more of that I know, the more of that I can create this fear of missing out, because I know people like you who are doing what I'm doing. And the beauty of our industry, and it gets such a hard time, right? But the beauty of our industry is that anybody who's anybody is in it. It doesn't matter what somebody tells you. I do this for a living, this is my family situation, this is the problem at the moment, yeah, I'm not really happy, or this is what I'm planning on doing. You could probably identify somebody. What's the problem? Right, guys, if you get a message from an individual, Shelley, you can just pin that. If you get a message from an individual who's found their way onto my live, could you just block them, please? Sorry, that's a bit of a shame, it's disrupted it. But there's not really a lot I can do mid-live, so I'm going to just block the person, okay? Don't worry. Block the message, I'll deal with them afterwards. So that's what cheers. Thank you, Sarah. Doesn't happen too often, but occasionally you get poorly trained people who use unscrupulous tactics, but they quickly fizzle out, so don't worry about it. Hit the block button, I'll deal with them afterwards, and we'll get them chucked off Facebook. There you go. Cool. So, does that make sense? Does that make sense? If it does, then let me know, #makes_sense, in the comments thread below. Okay? So, what we've got to do is we have to transfer the power to us. Remember, prospect always has the power until we transfer it. We do that by gaining knowledge over somebody. Remember, their decision is always based on riskless and risky. Okay? The more you find out about them and use it to appeal to their needs, the less risky it will appear, and the easier it will be for them to make the decision to take a look. And you're right, it is ironic. It's ironic that we've got a really stupid person on this live. Actually, do you know what? It's probably a good thing that there is some muppet on this live right now trying to prospect all of you, because it kind of proves what I said. So, you know, and you know, whatever's going on, that's what so many people do. It's crazy, isn't it? Oh my God. Maybe it's a blessing in disguise. Maybe it's a blessing in disguise, okay? But also, one of the things that you got to figure out, if you do what I tell you to do, if every day or every week you don't wake up thinking, I've got to recruit someone today, wake up and think, I just need to find out some things about some people today. I'm not going to make it about me. I'm not going to make it about my business. So whether I'm working in groups, whether I'm offline, whether I'm at a party, whether I'm at a wedding, whether I'm at a function, whether I'm doing something somewhere else, I'm going to make it my purpose to have good posture and just find out. I'm going to talk to people and I'm just going to ask them a few questions and find out a little bit about them, okay? And if I do that, That's then going to give me the power over that person to be able to create a tailored pitch or a tailored kind of introduction to your business, okay? And it works a treat. I've done it for years. I never recruit people, or most people I recruit are people I've had conversations with some time ago, and I know a little bit about them. Many of them come back to me and ask me about my business. But most of the time, when I am approaching somebody about the opportunity, I know a whole stack of stuff about them. I know about their job, their family situation. They're already a product user of mine often. And I know a little bit about their financial needs and financial situations, because these are questions that I always ask people. Even if I'm not in prospecting mode, people will give up that information. They'll tell you. People will tell you this stuff. Okay? So set yourself a goal every week. Set yourself a goal every week of how many people am I going to talk to? How many people am I going to find out? Okay? How many people am I going to find out more information about? And the thing is, this whole process doesn't take very long. You could have a 5 to 10 minute conversation with someone, and they could give you enough information for you to say, well, look, it's interesting that you tell me this. This is what I do. I know somebody just like you who's actually doing really well. You should have a chat with them. Okay? So this technique that I've given you, you can even take it away from you. So, and this is brilliant, and if you watch how I work, and a lot of the people who work closely with me, they'll tell you this. I'm what's called, I often get referred to as a closer, because what a lot of team members in my organisation do is they send people to me to speak to, okay, who are kind of on the edge. They're kind of, they're not really, they can't really make the decision. So what happens is people say, well, will you speak to this prospect for me? They're a bit unsure. Would you have a conversation with them about the business? And the point I'm trying to make is this is absolutely perfect, because if you find out about someone, you can point them to someone in your business. Essentially, you can almost bypass that whole tacky recruiting pitching process. So if you talk to someone with a particular situation, okay, you can identify someone you know who's been in that situation before and go, look, I've got a guy just like you in my business. He's crushing it. Similar situation. Might be something that you'd like to have a look at or have a talk about. You know, it's not going to affect what you're doing now, but it might help your situation. Do you fancy having a chat with him? Do you want me to get him to give you a call, or would you like to call him? I just think it would be really good for you. You know, that's a really, so you're becoming a connector. So you're taking somebody who's got situation A, because you've spoken to them, you know someone in your business that had situation A, and you're saying you should speak to this guy in my business because they're doing really, really well. And that's what I end up doing a lot of the time. I end up, you know, a large portion of my time is spent speaking to people because they've referred them to me. Yeah? And it works really, really well. And you're almost taking yourself, you're almost taking yourself out of the whole process. Sorry, I needed a drink. So you're almost taking yourself out of the whole process. So if you're getting some value, hashtag value in the comments thread below. If you have shared this Facebook Live tonight, there's 117 of you on. It would be interesting to see what percentage of you have actually shared. Now, you never really get 100% because there's always people who go, well, other people will share it, I don't need to. But let's see if we can let's see if everybody who's watching now, 117 people, let's see if you can share this live. Let's see if each of you, whether it's with one person, whether it's on a page or a group or just one person in your messenger, let's see how many people you can share this with. Because remember, sharing psychologically is a hard thing to do, but when you take really good pieces of content, which I think this is, I think this is a really good piece of content, you know, compared to some of the stuff that's out there, you know. I think this is a good piece of content, okay? Now, if you share good pieces of content with like-minded people, it's going to send people your way. You know, it won't just send them to me. If you share good content, people come to you and go, what is it you're doing? Right, are you ready to take a snapshot? Are you ready to take a snapshot of the screen and use it for your branding? You can tag me in and you can talk a little bit about this live and see how much engagement you actually get, right, when you share it on whatever, whether it's a group or a page or whatever. So are you ready? I'll do a couple of faces and you can take a screenshot. Here we go. Ready? Have you got that one? Okay, here we go. That'll get people looking. This will get people looking. Take a snapshot of that one. Imagine someone goes to your wall and they see my mug with this behind me, right, doing that. They'll probably stop and look and go, who's that weirdo? But it'll create a talking point. And that's what I mean. I want to give you some content. So I hope you took a few screenshots there. You can post that on your wall. Talk about what was going on. You know, we had a really fun training. We were learning how to do it X, Y, Z. You know, and start to get some attention on your profile and get some people asking questions. Because your content is going to be really, really important. So I think what I would say in closing, it becomes a lot easier to get people to look at your business when they come to you, okay? When people have been watching you a while and watching your content on social media, it makes everything a lot easier because there's almost a little bit of trust from them in you. So if you go to someone else, that's fine. But if they've been observing you and they're watching you and they're kind of asking questions and all that kind of stuff, it makes the whole process much, much easier. So your content, the kind of things that you're putting out there that represent your brand on social media, particularly on your personal profile, is very, very important, okay? Remember, always post content in relation to the type of person that you want to attract. If you want to attract somebody who wants to learn about, you know, business or sales, or they want to do something businessy, or they're interested in events and live events, if you want to attract that kind of person, then you need to be posting that kind of content. And it's no good posting a picture of you at the top of a mountain on a snowboard. Okay, and that's fine, by the way. It's okay to post that, but you've got to post content in relation to what you want to attract. That's why sometimes if you go on a Zoom or you're at a company event or you're doing a training, post about it, because people who are watching you and interested in getting on board with that kind of thing will be attracted to it and will want to ask you more questions. Yeah? So in relation to what we're talking about tonight, content is also very, very important. And if you do great content, then when you start speaking to people and using the tips that I've taught you tonight, it will make the conversation a lot easier. People will buy into you a lot more, you know, if that makes sense. So, did you find that useful? Transferring of power, focusing on looking at your presentation, take the power away from the prospect by finding out about them and then relating it to your business. We've got lots of people like you. There is a chap, would you like to speak to him? Doesn't have to interfere with what you're doing, but I'd love you to have a look. Would you be open for that? Just concentrate on doing that. Don't concentrate on the result. Concentrate on the activity of getting people to look. If you do that, I promise you'll have much more fun. It's easier, you'll have much more fun. You'll have better posture. If you have better posture, more people will pay attention to you. And everything just kind of flows. Everything just kind of works a lot easier. I know I used to find it really hard. I used to really buy into the result, and it just doesn't work because prospects and potential customers, you know, they can sniff it a mile away. They know if you're desperate, okay, because they've got the power. So transfer the power to you. You have the power The power is always knowledge, the knowledge of the other person, the more you know about them. Yes, you need to talk about your story, but do you know what? I would rather know somebody else's story than share mine first off. Yeah? Because I have power. If someone shares their entire story with me, I have the power. I've got the power. I should have that as the theme tune. Yeah? So tonight, I want you all to sing, I've got the power. Yeah? And that's what you're going to do. Take the power back. Okay, right. So, if you have been, we've had really, really good numbers this evening as well. So, if you have been, I really, really appreciate, as always, each and every one of you coming out to get some skills, some values, some knowledge, some understanding of how you can get your business to the next level. I have massive gratitude for all of you, particularly those of you who shared this evening. Thank you so much. I'm sorry we had a little bit of a blip. We had a little bit of a stalker, a little bit of a troll. Hopefully you've reported that person. I know I'm going to do that, but you know, it does happen occasionally. And the good thing is, it actually reinforces my point that there's a lot of bad practice out there, isn't there? But of course, not you lot, because we're all part of the same gang. We're all part of the same gang. We do things properly. We do things ethically. In this club, we do things properly. Yeah? So, I want you all to repeat after me on the comments thread, and then I'm going to end this live. Repeat after me, I've got the power. All right? I've got the frickin' power. And you know how to get the power from somebody. So, as always, take care. Good night. God bless. And I will see you all very soon. Bye.